Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Tuesday, the 3rd of December 2024, and in today's video I'm going to decipher for you Psalm 80, okay? I just deciphered for you Psalm 79, only 13 verses, but it took me almost 2 hours to upload this, to my YouTube channel. I guess I'm having a bit of a slow connection today. Now I'm going to decipher Psalm 80, but this actually has 6 more verses, 19 verses. And so I'm going to do a bit of a long story short, okay? Now, the first few verses, if you like the foundation in that the Jewish people are calling out to God to come back to them, okay? So it's not too much of a problem. The main thing to decipher then are verses 14 to 19, okay? Which are actually quite interesting, okay? So I'm going to keep a long story short because otherwise this video perhaps could take 3 hours to upload. It's going to be very difficult, okay? So, long story short, okay, we begin with verse 3. Turn us again, O God, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved, okay? So, Psalm 80 essentially is a tribulation period psalm only, and I'll show you the program in a moment, okay? So, basically, with verse 3, if you like, we see the people asking God, asking the Messiah Jesus to be saved, and all Israel shall be saved under Romans 11:26, okay? Yeah, so I do have a program, Psalm 80, okay, Tuesday the 3rd of the 12th, 2024, a tribulation period psalm, just the same as Psalm 79, okay? I got 2 pages if you like. We're going to cover the main verses, okay, folks? We're going to do a bit of a long story short so I can get this video out to you as soon as possible, okay? Now, verse 3, turn us again, O God, like I just read, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved, okay? So the Jewish people pleading with God for them to be saved, during the tribulation period, if you like, and all Israel shall be saved according to Romans 11:26, okay? So if we go there just quickly, I'm pretty sure that everyone knows this, okay? But just to show you anyway, we're pretty much here, folks. Bear with me for 1 sec, okay? Just over the page. Romans 11:26, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, Jesus, of course, like the Jewish people calling out to Jesus, the deliverer, okay, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob, okay. So basically, we see here the Jewish people calling out to God, and like I just showed you in Romans 11:26, all Israel shall be saved. But then, long story short, we got some historical accounts here, but this is all, folks. All context, if you like, really, for the tribulation period. Okay. Now again, on verse 14 is actually quite similar to verse 3. Okay. The Jewish people calling out, to God, if you like, to save them. Okay. So return, we beseech thee. Okay. O God of hosts, look down from heaven and behold and visit this vine. Now, this vine, of course, refers to Israel. Okay. Now, verse 15. And the vineyard which thy right hand has planted, okay, and the branch that thou mightest strong for thyself. So, of course, the vineyard is, of course, a nation of Israel, which are under covenant. Okay, the vineyard which thy right hand had planted. So basically, it's saying that Israel, okay, is under covenant, okay, with Jesus, which thy right hand has planted. Now, the fact that it's saying right hand has planted, it also has connotations of God the Father allowing Jesus, the right hand, because don't forget that Jesus is the King of Israel, okay? And the vineyard which thy right hand had planted also has kind of like a second meaning, if you like, as well, meaning Jesus, Jesus sits, of course, on the right hand of the Father, and we'll see this in a moment down here somewhere. Okay, I'll show you in a moment. Okay, and of course, the covenant, you can read this. Moses' covenant in Exodus 24:7. Okay, so and the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted, meaning the right hand, of course, symbolic of Jesus, of course, covenant with Moses, Exodus 24:7. Okay, so quickly we go to Exodus 24:7. Bear with me, folks. We are here now. Okay, Exodus 24:7, and he, which is Moses, okay, took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord had said, we will do and be obedient. Okay, so basically, um, here, on verse 15, and the vineyard which thy right had planted, meaning Jesus. Okay, planted, of course, is a covenant. Planted is referring to the covenant. Okay, with Israel. Okay, the branch that doth mighty strong for thyself. Okay, so of course the branch is, of course, the nation of Israel. Okay, now verse 16, you got to pay very careful attention because it's actually very, very tricky, and it actually has two parts to it. Now, look what it says here and pay attention. It says, look, it is burned with fire, it is cut down. Then you got the two dots here. Now, this is actually part one, and it ends here, and I'll show you why in a moment. Because basically, okay, the Jewish people are asking God, oh Jesus, return, we beseech thee, God of hosts, please come down and save us. And so, what he's saying here is that what's happening in the tribulation period, okay, what's happening is that according to Luke 21, verse 24, uh, Israel is under the sword. It's under the sword, if you like. They are cut down. Let me show you these folks, on Luke 21, okay? Now remember that I just told you that this actually has two parts. Okay, we are here in Luke now. Bear with me for one sec. Over the page. Luke, go to the book of Luke 21. Okay, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, although this prophecy is highlighting what's happening here, that the Jewish people will fall, by the edge of the sword in the second half of the tribulation period, okay? In context, and I repeat, in context, it's actually referring also from verses 20 to 24, okay? And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, they know that the desolation thereof is nigh, okay? Of course, the abomination of desolation, which you can read in Daniel 9:27. Let them which are in Judea flee to the midst of the mountain, and let them which are in the midst over the valley, and let not them that are in the countries therein enter thereinto. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written might be fulfilled, and so on. Okay, so basically here, folks, on verse 16, there's two parts of it. It's actually very, very tricky, or ultra tricky. It is burned with fire, it is cut down. Basically, what this prophecy here is saying that, hey, Israel is under the sword, according to Luke 21, verse 24 specifically, but it's also happening under Luke 21, verses 20 to 24 in context. So the Jewish people, if you like, are be burned down with fire. They're going to the sword, if you like. And then on part two, we have the response of Jesus, where he says, they perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. So as soon as Jesus comes down for the millennial kingdom, these Gentiles are going to perish according to Zechariah 14:12. Okay, but let me quickly show you the two parts of that. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so on verse 16, then, okay, it is burned with fire, it is cut down, and then you got the two little dots here. Now, that you should read it as part one. It finishes here. Part one begins here, and it ends with down, because it's basically saying that The Jewish people are under the sword, like I just told you in Luke 21, verse 24. But in context, it's actually Luke 21, verses 20 to 24. Okay? And the second part begins here. They perish. So the Jewish people are being cut down. But as soon as Jesus comes down for the millennial, this is part 2. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. And you can tie these two, okay, this part 2 with Zechariah 14:12. Now let us quickly go to Zechariah 14:12. Bear with me, folks. We are here on Zechariah 14:12. Okay, so if you head over to Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, and look what it says here. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. The flesh shall consume away. Okay, are you ready? The flesh shall consume away while stand upon the feet. What is part 2 saying? They perish. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. This thy countenance is, of course, Jesus. Okay? They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. Zechariah 14:12. How are they going to perish? That's quite easily. The flesh shall consume away while staying upon their feet. Okay? And the right shall consume away in their holes, and the tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Okay? So that's that, folks. So now I'm going to turn over the page on my program here, folks. Just last a few verses. And then we got, so don't forget that verse 16 has 2 parts. It begins here on part 1, where it says it, and ends here with the word down. And then part 2 begins with thy and finishes with countenance. Okay, just look at my programs. You can always rewind. Now, verse 17. Now, this is actually a very tricky, ultra tricky actually. Let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand. This is actually interesting. Now, this is what it's saying here. Let thy hand is actually God the Father. That's right. Let thy hand, meaning God the Father, okay, be upon the man of thy right hand, meaning Jesus. Okay, because we know that Jesus sits on the right hand of the Father. This is ultra tricky. Let thy hand, meaning God the Father, be upon the man of thy right hand, meaning Jesus, upon the Son of Man, which is also Jesus, whom you, meaning God the Father, might strong for thyself. Okay? Very tricky, folks, you know. So, on the program here, I got, let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand. So, this is God the Father here. Let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand, meaning Jesus. Okay, God the Father to Jesus. Okay? Upon the Son of Man, Jesus, of course, is the Son of Man, whom you, God the Father, might strong for thyself. Okay, so let me quickly show you verse 17. Okay, let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand. Okay, so God the Father to Jesus, upon the Son of Man, which is Jesus, whom you, God the Father, this thou is God the Father, whom you, God the Father, might strong for thyself. Okay. Now, verse 18. So will not we, meaning Israel, so will not we go back from thee, quicken us, in other words, save us, and we will call upon thy name. Okay, so this we will call upon thy name because the Jewish people want to be saved. In other words, according to Romans 11:26. Okay, we, okay. Remember that we will call upon thy name. This ties into Zechariah 13:9. Okay, so quickly let us go to Zechariah 13:9. We're almost there, folks. Yeah, we're here. We're on Zechariah 13:9. Okay, so go to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They the Jewish people shall call on my name, okay? Shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God, okay? So remember, they shall call on my name, okay? Uh, remember that, folks? They shall call on my name, okay? We will call upon thy name, okay? See how it goes together with Zechariah 13:9, okay? And then on verse 19, turn us again, O Lord, God of hosts, cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. Okay, so of course, again, the Jewish people, they are begging pretty much for, Jesus to come back to them, and and we shall be saved. Of course, this ties to, Romans 11:26. Okay, folks. So on the program here, turn us again, O Lord, God of hosts, cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved according to Romans 11:26. Alright, folks, I have to keep this video long story short, but the main verses here are from 14 to 19, which are actually tricky. And don't forget verse 16, which has two parts to it. Alright? Okay, folks, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.